It was just another ordinary Tuesday morning in the peak of summer, the relentless sun already beating down mercilessly on the scorching asphalt, creating waves of heat haze rising from the road, and I was hopelessly stuck, bumper to bumper amidst an endless sea of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the bustling interstate highway. The air was thick with the usual symphony of blaring honking horns echoing from every direction, interspersed with deep frustrated sighs and occasional angry shouts from fellow drivers, forming that all too familiar, grating soundtrack that accompanied my daily commute without fail. But then, something extraordinary happened. A strange, eerie quiet began to spread like a wave across the highway, an unnatural hush that gradually swallowed up all the typical traffic noise, leaving an unsettling silence in its wake. Ahead of me, I noticed a few drivers stepping out of their cars onto the hot pavement, craning their necks skyward, pointing excitedly with wide eyes towards something mysterious appearing in the clear blue sky above us. Overcome by a surge of curiosity mixed with a growing sense of unease prickling at the back of my mind, I felt compelled to follow suit, unbuckling my seatbelt and pushing open my car door to step out myself. And there it was, right before my eyes, hanging completely motionless directly above the gridlocked highway. A massive, perfectly smooth disc-shaped object that gleamed ominously in the sunlight. This thing was enormous, easily spanning the width of several highway lanes below it, and it was utterly silent with no sound at all, completely defying every single law of physics that I had ever learned or believed in. The intense sunlight glinted and danced off its flawless metallic surface, making it look almost like a living liquid metal, constantly shifting hues between a dull, mysterious silver and a blinding, piercing white that hurt to stare at. A collective gasp rippled through the growing crowd of bewildered commuters who had now all stepped outside their vehicles, their faces frozen in expressions of pure awe, creeping fear, and utter disbelief as they stared up at the impossible sight. There were no roaring engines, no spinning propellers, no visible means of propulsion or support whatsoever. It just defied gravity, hanging there effortlessly like a silent, watchful sentinel dominating the sky above the highway. Fear started to creep into my chest, a deep primal dread washing over me at the thought that something so profoundly alien and otherworldly could be hovering so close, feeling so tangibly real in broad daylight. My heart began pounding hard against my ribcage, like a frantic drumbeat thundering in my ears, perfectly echoing the overwhelming disbelief and shock racing through my disbelieving mind. What felt like mere minutes stretched out into an agonizing eternity under that blazing sun, with each passing second only amplifying the surreal, dreamlike quality of this once-in-a-lifetime event unfolding before us. My mind raced with terrifying questions. Was this the start of some kind of invasion, perhaps a test of our defenses, or merely a fleeting glimpse into a vast, incomprehensible reality far beyond our limited human understanding? Then, without the slightest sound or warning, the massive disk began to tilt ever so slowly at first, picking up with an impossible, graceful fluidity that no earthly aircraft could ever replicate. Unlike any plane or helicopter that accelerates with noise and thrust, this object simply glided smoothly through the air, completely defying the laws of inertia and aerodynamics as we know them. The entire crowd of onlookers leaned forward in unison, completely mesmerized and entranced by the UFO's effortless, hypnotic motion cutting across the sky above the frozen traffic. It continued its path steadily towards the distant city skyline on the horizon, transforming into a stark, dark silhouette etched sharply against the brilliant, cloudless bright sky. Then, in the literal blink of an eye, it accelerated, not gradually building speed, but instantaneously exploding forward into a high-speed blur streaking across the vast blue expanse. One moment it dominated the sky above us, the next it shrank to a tiny distant speck hurtling away, and then it was completely gone, vanished entirely without leaving even the faintest trace behind. The silence that descended afterward was even more profound and heavy than the initial hush, creating a total vacuum in the air where the impossible, mind-bending spectacle had just played out moments before. People all around me began exchanging bewildered, Wide-eyed glances, some rubbing their eyes in disbelief or pinching themselves, desperately trying to confirm that what they had just witnessed was not some collective hallucination. Was it real? Did that truly just happen right here on this everyday highway? Those urgent questions hung heavy and unanswered in the thick, still air around us. Slowly and hesitantly, as if in a trance, people started returning to their cars, with a strange, subdued, and thoughtful energy now replacing the raw panic and chaos of just minutes earlier. The first tentative car engine roared to life with a low rumble, followed by another and another, until soon the familiar, comforting hum of idling traffic and exhaust began to fill the air once more. The highway, which had served as the dramatic stage for this unbelievable extraterrestrial encounter, was gradually reverting back to its mundane, everyday routine of slow-moving gridlock. But for those of us fortunate or unfortunate enough to have witnessed it firsthand, that seemingly ordinary Tuesday morning would be forever etched indelibly into our memories, never to fade. The UFO that brought all traffic to a complete standstill, a silent, utterly impossible visitor from the unknown that departed as mysteriously as it arrived, leaving us all with far more haunting questions than any satisfying answers.